Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's meeting of the Escondido City Council. Please rise for a moment of reflection and remain standing for the flag salute.
Yes, please join me in a moment of reflection. We come together tonight to say thank you. Thank you for the privilege, the blessing, the honor it is to serve here in the city of Escondido. We come together tonight as a diverse community, a community of different backgrounds, different beliefs, different presence, and different futures, yet one common goal, and that is the betterment of this city. We come together tonight to seek guidance, wisdom, and discernment during deliberations that transpire this evening, and in doing so, we lift up Councilmember Fitzgerald, Councilmember Martinez, Councilmember Christian Garcia, Deputy Mayor Joe Garcia, and Mayor White. May they be granted peace and wisdom as they lead our city into a bright and prosperous future. Amen.
All right, this meeting is now called to order, and we'll do roll call. Councilmember Fitzgerald.
Present.
Councilman Christian Garcia.
Here.
Councilman Joe Garcia.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Martinez.
Present.
And I, Mayor White, am here, which brings us to the beginning of the meeting, our presentation, which is a certificate of recognition for Officer Jesus Vea.
It is my absolute honor to be presenting him with this award. I had the privilege of attending the Scottish Rite Awards, annual awards that recognizes an exceptional officer from every community. Officer Juan Vea was not able to make it, so I received the award in his honor, and it actually turned out good because I really think that we should be honoring him in front of our community. So it is my privilege. Nobody likes people. It is actually my privilege to be able to just share with you what it is that your fellow officers, the chief, and based on the feedback that they've received from your trainees to the people that work alongside you, and then also all the task forces that you are a part of, not just in the city, but the county, and even nationally, he has had an impact. So I'm really grateful to be the one presenting you with this. And so Officer Jesus Vea has been a steady, dependable presence since joining the Escondido Police Department on December 2nd, 2019. From July 2024 to July 2025, he and Officer Chandler Hopple rebuilt the Special Enforcement Team, SET, after several years without staffing. So he went above and beyond, took it upon himself, his own time, to build that back up, setting the standard for what future SET teams should look like. During that year, Officer Vea made a strong impact through proactive enforcement and major investigations, including his key role in Operation Blue Strips and Pink Slips, which led to the indictment of 17 drug trafficking suspects across multiple counties and states. That's quite an impact. His work and experience in narcotics enforcement earned him recognition as a court-certified narcotics expert in San Diego County. Back in patrol, Officer Vea continues to be the person who shows up, often literally everywhere, regularly working overtime to help maintain minimum staffing and support his team. Very dedicated. Thank you. He brings solid investigative skills, sound judgment, and a calm, professional approach to every shift. As a field training officer, he sets clear expectations while giving trainees the support they need to succeed, helping shape the next generation of officers. His work ethic, leadership, and consistent performance make him highly deserving of recognition as the 2025 Escondido Police Department Scottish Rite Officer of the Year. So congratulations. And where is, oh, there's the plaque right here. So I'd like to present you with this plaque from the Scottish Rite, and it says, in recognition of dedicated and faithful service to public safety and the citizens of our community. And that is to you. There you go. Thank you.
All right. Certificate of recognition for Jesus Vea for Outstanding Officer of the Year. Whereas the City of Escondido proudly recognizes those public servants whose dedication, integrity, and commitment to excellence strengthen our community and exemplify the highest ideals of law enforcement. And whereas Officer Vea has been selected by the Scottish Rite Valley of San Diego as the Outstanding Law Enforcement Officer of the Year for the City of Escondido, an honor that recognizes exceptional service, professionalism, and unwavering dedication to protecting and serving the public. And whereas through his courage, compassion, and sound judgment, to the safety and well-being of our residents, Officer Vea has earned the respect and admiration of his fellow officers, city leadership, and the community he faithfully serves. And whereas Officer Vea's exemplary service reflects a great credit upon himself, the Escondido Police Department, and the City of Escondido, while inspiring others through his character, leadership, and devotion to public service. Now, therefore, I, Dane White, Mayor of the City of Escondido, and on behalf of the City Council and the residents of our community, do hereby extend our sincere congratulations and appreciation to Officer Vea for his distinguished recognition. We thank him for his outstanding service, unwavering commitment to excellence, and continued dedication to protecting the people of Escondido. Thank you. Did you want to say anything? Yeah, go ahead. Oh. Do you want the rest of the council? You can speak now if you want.
Sure, I'll say something. Sorry, I'm not good with speeches, so I apologize for how short it's going to be. But honestly, all of this isn't without the continued support of everybody that's up here, the staff that continues to support us through the hard times, and obviously the citizens of Escondido, who always have something good to say. And even if they don't, it's always a good conversation with all the citizens of Escondido, and we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Sweet, thank you. If I could have the Escondido Creek Conservancy join me up here. How are you? Good to see you. Likewise. How you doing? All right, I am presenting a proclamation for the Escondido Creek Conservancy and their 35th anniversary. It says, whereas, and by the way, this one's long, so bear with me, lots of whereases. Whereas in 2026, the Escondido Creek Conservancy proudly celebrates 35 years of active habitat restoration, environmental conservation, fostering stewardship, outdoor recreation, and community engagement, sustaining a lasting legacy of protecting the natural resources and open spaces that enrich North County, San Diego. And whereas since 1991, the Escondido Creek Conservancy has advocated for the restoration and preservation of local ecosystems, connecting more than 30,000 students to nature through environmental education programs, has protected over 7,000 acres of wildland in perpetuity, and currently manages and stewards over 3,000 acres throughout the Escondido Creek watershed. And whereas the Escondido Creek begins at the upper headwaters in Bear Valley above Lake Wolford, flowing over 26 miles across central Escondido, Harmony Grove, Elfin Forest, Alivenhain, and Rancho Santa Fe before emptying into the ocean at the San Alejo Lagoon, providing thousands of acres of critical, vital habitat for wildlife and native plants. And whereas the Escondido Creek Conservancy conservation efforts link and protect inland natural areas, including the Conservancy's Sardina Preserve and Bottle Peak in Escondido, with urban communities and coastal habitats reflecting that healthy watersheds, thriving wildlife corridors, and clean waterways are essential to the environmental health, quality of life, and biodiversity through San Diego. And whereas in partnership with the Escondido Union School District, the Escondido Creek Conservancy brings hands-on outdoor recreation to all 24 schools, providing thousands of students the opportunity to learn from nature in nature, fostering the next generation of environmental stewards. And whereas through partnerships with public agencies, foundations, private landowners, donors, volunteers, educators, and various community members, the Escondido Creek Conservancy continues to advance its mission of conservation, habitat restoration, environmental education, and watershed protection from ridge to reef. And whereas during this milestone year, a generous private donor has pledged to match every donation, dollar per dollar, up to $1 million, doubling the impact of every contribution, accelerating land conservation, transforming outdoor education, and directly supporting restoration at a critical moment for our region. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Dane White, Mayor of the City of Escondido, along with all the City Council members, value natural landscapes and hereby congratulate the Escondido Creek Conservancy on the celebration of its 35th anniversary.
Oh, that was a wonderful.
Congratulations.
I can say a quick word or two.
Yes, thank you so much, Mayor White and the council. The Conservancy really is part of the community here. We care about not just preserving land and biodiversity, but also getting people into the outdoors, creating opportunities for people to get out of their homes and enjoy these wonderful natural resources we have. So thank you very much, and hopefully everyone will be able to benefit from all the work that we've been doing. Thank you.
Do we have a report out of closed session?
No public report. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, we'll go to non-agenda public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before we go to oral communication, a couple things for those who are in attendance as well as those who are attending online. In order to speak in person, you need to submit a yellow request to speak form. Just bring it to this box right here, and I'll make sure you get called forward. If you wish to speak online, visit publiccomment.escondido.gov, and you can call into the meeting, and I'll be calling those into the meeting after those in person have had a chance to speak. Now, on a practical level, oral communications that we have right now, this is for non-agenda items. That would include the ice rink proposal, which is not on the agenda. So that is limited to 10 minutes at the beginning of the meeting. Then the remaining speakers who finish after 10 minutes will have the opportunity to speak at the end of the meeting. So I just want to be clear, when you're expecting of the rest of the meeting, it's going to have to go through all the other agenda items. In addition, worth noting, since it's not an agendized item, if comments or questions are asked of the City Council is legally prohibited from responding or answering your question. So if you end up having a question that you want facilitated to the council, please provide it to myself, and I can facilitate that communication. So with that being said, we'll start with our first speaker, Stephen Wheeler. Oh, and Mr. Wheeler, one last thing I forgot to mention. Due to those who are calling in online, our new program, once your time has reached 3 minutes, your microphone will be muted. So I just want to let you know to be planning accordingly.
I am Stephen Wheeler. Honorable civil servants, I speak before you today, though associated with the current ice arena project, I take no position on this initiative. I am here today to ask you simply, prove me wrong. I have been both observer and participant in our City Council meetings since 2008. However presumptuous, I am convinced I know a done deal when I see one, and currently expect this project already meets that definition. This shows literally in your faces, your public comments, and most notably, your proactive scheduling of community awareness so late in the game. It appears to me you understand very well how to work the system. I've seen it before. Mayor, I offer your description of the dozens of residents who in February spoke in opposition to our firearms range lease as relentless. That speaks volumes to your value of community sentiment. Kind of begs the question if you found supporters equally relentless. I suggested it's time to demonstrate the courage of leadership to which I have previously cited to this august body as sorely lacking to this constituent. I am convinced, regardless of any community input, pro, con, or indifferent, there is no doubt in my mind we will have an ice arena in Kit Carson Park. Of this, I am convinced. The decision has already been made. It need not be disguised. To close, I offer a few points. Prove me wrong, please. I address this body in my salutation as honorable civil servants. I only ask that you earn this distinction. Done deals result in done politicians. To all those who may remain in office when a vote occurs, I ask you not lose sight that one of your multiple choice answers will always be, Rings Foundation, thanks for this exciting opportunity, but we have found no suitable facility site in our city. So please, please, prove me wrong with respect.
I'm going to call our next two speakers up. So we have Lisa Dahl followed by Gary Stoughton. Just so you know, Gary Stoughton. Lisa Stahl, Gary Stoughton. All right. Carrying on, Ruth Weber, followed by John Weber. There you go.
Well, I have a handout.
Oh, I already gave it to him.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
great. My name is Ruth Weber, and I'm here today representing the Escondido Parks Foundation to officially contest the architectural plan presented by the Rinks Foundation for the proposed facility at Kit Carson Park. On June 17, 1970, the City Council of Escondido officially passed specific plan for the Kit Carson Park, which includes guidelines necessary to preserve and enhance the atmosphere of the park. The direction and design of the park was to closely follow the architecture at the time of the Mexican-American War and reflect the Kit Carson name. This was to apply to all new construction in the park. Some of the specifics on the list include low roof lines that create verandas, adobe brick look, red clay-colored roof tiles, wrought iron, single or maximum two-story construction, signs that reflect the historical significance of the park in their style and manner of construction. The landscape is to have trees and shrubs indigenous to Escondido placed in groups that block undesirable buildings and parking areas with planted mounds, like the one separating the softball fields from the mall parking lot. All existing trees are to be preserved whenever possible. This does not describe AstroTurf. Picnic tables, benches, trash containers are to be made of heavy timber or rock, not metal tables with umbrellas. The staff report that accompanied the plan illustrated the intent of the park, and I quote, "The purpose of the citywide park as set forth by the Citizens Advisory Committee for the General Plan is to afford contact with nature, offer a variety of recreational activities not found in the neighborhood and community facilities, to provide a natural recreation area designed for people, a meeting ground for man and nature, a breathing space for all that is wild and free in spirit. Sound, smells, and awareness of the warm earth and cool grass between bare toes can be rediscovered in a variety of settings, preserved and accented in a large recreational park." I think this description of intent says it all. Not only does the Rinks architectural plan not meet the park specifications, the whole intent of the park does not line up with the inclusion of a 14-acre commercial ice rink disguised as a nonprofit. We hereby officially contest the architectural plan and your decision to move forward with further consideration of the MOU. Thank you very much.
Mr. Weber, it's your turn. Yeah, great. So, yeah, John. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council members. My name is John Weber, and I'm a 15-year resident of Escondido. In September 2025, the Escondido Sports Center Skate Park in Kit Carson Park was closed. Built in 1997, the foundational substructure had exceeded its lifespan and was, quote, beyond repair, unquote. The lifetime of the skate park was 28 years and had to be demolished. The Escondido Isoplex ice skating rink closed down after 25 years when they could no longer afford to maintain the property and its lifespan had expired. We now know that ice rink facilities have a lifespan. Excuse me. The City of Escondido's proposed lease with the Ice Rinks Foundation Ice Park is for 25 years with an option for 25 more. However, if they choose not to renew their lease at the end of 25 years, Escondido taxpayers will be left to foot the bill for refurbishing or demolishing the complex. Excuse me. And we would never get back the endangered animals or habitat that was destroyed. Furthermore, the 4 adult softball fields they plan to move to Ryan Park were originally located here where City Hall is now located. According to Mr. Don Anderson, Director of Parks and Recreation at the time, the City Council promised never again to move the softball fields in perpetuity. One of the Rinks Foundation's selling points is that it will bring approximately 100 new jobs to Escondido. We'll let it be known that on May 28, 2026, a class action lawsuit was filed against the Rinks Foundation in Los Angeles Superior Court, case number 26 STCV 17017, wherein the plaintiffs alleged that the Rinks Foundation, quote, failed to properly pay them all wages owed for all time worked, including minimum wage, straight time wages, and overtime wages, failed to provide them with all meal periods and rest periods and associated premium wages to which they were entitled, failed to timely pay them all wages due during their employment, failed to timely pay them all wages due upon termination of their employment, failed to provide them with accurate itemized wage statements, failed to maintain accurate payroll records, and failed to reimburse them for necessary business expenses, unquote. Are these truly the people the citizens of Escondido should be in bed with? I think not. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Michael Devine. Michael Devine. If not, then Edward Hall. Edward Hall. These are people who signed up to speak online. Jeanette Zellman. Jeanette Zellman. Joe Hood. Joe Hood. All right, perfect. And this will be our final speaker for oral communications for this portion. The remaining balance will be at the end of the meeting.
Good evening. There are 2 sensible paths to work to solve our climate crisis. One is to stop burning fossil fuels. The second is to enhance nature. Why are you leading Escondido on a rampage to destroy nature in pursuit of money? Escondido has almost 23,000 acres in the city. 60% plus or minus are built development, 40% plus or minus are paved impervious land. 4 to 5% are for parks. Kit Carson Park is 1.2% of the total area, and only 0.8% of that is reserved land. The park is 285 acres, 100 of those developed and 185 preserved. You know, back in 1986, after already decimating the park, 77 acres were leased to North County Fair, which opened in 1986. You want to continue on this tragic path? Are you considering leasing 14 more acres that will pave over more natural ground? This could result in harmful carbon emissions during construction and ongoing emissions from the energy needed to operate the business, as well as the many cars visiting the site. This is madness. Please protect nature. eBird recognizes Kit Carson Park as a birding hotspot. We have observed more than 200 species of birds. This is adjacent, in part, to these softball fields. Why do you not want to protect our birds as well as our plants? Reportedly, the EIR contract was sole source to a company suggested by the developer. We just heard how good they are. We don't need the fox guarding the henhouse. Fairness and probably law demand that an open bidding process occurs. Do you want to approve a project using corrupt processes? You're inviting a lawsuit. Note that a prior rink is already closed here in Escondido. Does that mean it's a good business for us? And there's already a rink in Poway besides. Proceeding could make sense by removing some of the 35 or 45% to 45% of paved land and repurposing it in North County. 45% paved already. North County Fair is surely an option. Current leases are almost surely renegotiable, or find a path someplace else. Bottom line, protect nature, protect the peace of mind and health of Escondido's wildlife and residents.
Your time has expired. Thank you so much. One point, thank you so much. I'll just remind the audience, we do have a decorum policy in place, so please maintain a respectful decorum. Everyone's going to have the opportunity to speak. The remaining 12 who had signed up to speak, who did not speak so far, that'll be at the end of the meeting. If anyone has questions, please come to myself and ask. And moving on, we're going to carry on to the consent calendar, Mr. Mayor.
Has anything been pulled from consent?
Yes, we have a few items that have been pulled by a member online. So item number 12, item number 13, and then item number 12, item number 13, and item number 17.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve items 1 through 11, 14, 15, 16, 18, and 19.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? If not, please vote.
Voting is open. Motion approved, 5-0.
All right, that takes us to item 12, which is to approve a budget adjustment for the Grand Avenue Vision Project Phase 3.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And on this note specifically, since this has been pulled by a member of the public, staff will not be coming forward right now to do their presentation unless asked by the council. I will be bringing forward the speaker, and bear with me if you wouldn't mind, as our new system, we're running it right now. The speaker's name is Truth Tonics, and they will be joining us momentarily.
Oh, hello there, Escondido. Hopefully you can hear me well. Because the sound on this side is not that great, but I understand you're still trying to figure it out. That's why I'm here, though. I'm helping you test the system. So for the Grand Avenue grant, I think we have a $2 million stupid growth grant from Sandag, that wonderful agency that does nothing great with our tax dollars. But if you pay them a lot of money, sometimes you get a little bit back, and this is one of those cases. But you still have to add $2.2 million from your own general fund in order to get anything. But you know what? That's less than half the cost of a stupid roundabout, so that's pretty good, I guess. But real simple question, is that $4.2 million, is that to cover the cost of an art sculpture in the roundabout so you can block the view and create a blind spot for drivers so they can more easily hit pedestrians? Because you know, at a roundabout, you don't even have to stop. So if you put a piece of art there, they really don't have to stop. They just won't see the pedestrian. I just wanted to bring that up. That concludes my comments on item 12.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving forward, any comments or questions from council?
Thank you, Truth. No, I have no questions or comments. Do any of you? I'll entertain a motion if not.
I motion to approve.
I'll second. Please vote.
Voting is open. Motion approved, 5-0.
Okay, item 13 is approve a third amendment to consultant services agreement with HR Green Pacific for on-call engineering services.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One moment. I will be bringing in Truth Tonics again to speak on this particular item.
Hi again. So, same person speaking on item 13, and I'm glad you unmuted me so you could actually hear me. So I do want to say the reason I'm speaking on this item is I really want people to know what Sci-Fi Fiber City's agenda is, because fiber optic cables, don't really have an issue with that. You're getting better internet, right? Allegedly. But on their website, they talk about how is the network built, and their answer is micro-trenching technology, a minimally invasive method. But then, once they dig, installing access points for smart city services as we build the network. By doing this, we are laying the foundations for the city to become a smart city. And then they go on to say all of their fiber cities, which is a rights reserved trademark, are built with smart city connectivity, allowing municipalities and service providers to implement smart city initiatives. And they continue to say a smart city is a city that embraces the digital age and the Internet of Things phenomenon. It electronically connects its city's assets to record and analyze data. Now, we all could figure out the positive of that. Oh, the city has data, they can better service us. Well, show me a city where that has proven true. I have not seen that even when they implement apps. Second, if you know what a smart city actually is, it's more about just controlling your life. And so I just want people to know that not necessarily that the local government's agenda is that. I don't think so. But it is building the foundation for that to be a possibility at some point. And if you don't like that I'm saying that, or that I could even potentially be true, well, you can just research it for yourself and find out. That concludes my comments on this.
Thank you. No further speakers on this, Mr. Mayor.
Any questions or comments from the council? I'll move to approve. Please vote.
Voting is open. Motion approved, 5-0.
All right, item 17 is the Carnegie Foundation grant budget adjustment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have another speaker, Truth Tonics, will be speaking on this particular item. I'll be patching her through.
Hi again. It would have been more efficient if you just took me 3 in a row and then you voted on 3 items for the record. So $10,000 grant with unrestricted funding. Who doesn't appreciate that? I think that's great. That never happens. But there's no such thing as free money. There's always some kind of string. And the string in this one is actually the Carnegie Corporation itself. Now, what's great is they didn't technically put strings, except they want you to basically acknowledge Carnegie's heritage. Now, anyone who's actually researched Andrew Carnegie, he doesn't have a good legacy like he wants everyone to believe. He actually was a monopolist, and he was a eugenicist. But I guess if you can overlook that, which I think is hard for me to do because I really like history. And sorry to prepare a whole history lesson on him. Again, you can look him up yourself. But I am going to say no to him, but absolutely yes, renovate the library. I think that's a great goal. And for the record, again, online comments and in person are usually treated equally. That's the intent of the law with SB 707, as in you probably should have equally taken 2 in person, 2 online for oral communication. So I'd like you to consider that in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. No further comments on this item.
Okay. Any questions or comments? If not, motion? Motion, second, please vote.
Voting is open. Motion approved, 5-0.
Okay, that takes us to item 20, which is our first public hearing, which I will open now and turn it over to our presenters.
Oh, hey.
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and council members. I'm Lavonna Koretke, Fire Marshal with the Escondido Fire Department. Today, City Council will have the opportunity to approve an ordinance adopting the County of San Diego Battery Energy Storage System, or BESS guidelines, as an amendment to the California Fire Code. Tonight's presentation will include a summary of the county's BESS guidelines, highlight some major safety restrictions and requirements that would apply to all future BESS projects, a recap of the City Council's actions to date on BESS, including an update on workforce standards, and a recommendation to adopt Ordinance 2026-09 as an amendment to the California Fire Code. Throughout this process, staff has maintained a strong partnership with San Diego County in the development of the guidelines and establishment of workforce safety standards in an effort to provide continuity of regulation. An update on workforce standards will be presented in subsequent slides. At this time, staff would like to emphasize that San Diego County continues to serve as the lead agency in these efforts, and the city will remain actively engaged with county staff to ensure ongoing coordination, consistency, and alignment as this work progresses. The San Diego County BESS guidelines reflect the most current national fire and safety standards and address some additional safety requirements based on the most recent data and lessons learned from recent incidents. So the guidelines not only address fire protection, emergency response planning, maintenance requirements, and detailed submittal requirements, they also require robust hazard mitigation analysis and plume modeling to evaluate potential impacts on surrounding areas. In short, they provide a complete framework for evaluating and regulating BESS installations. As noted just a moment ago, there are many different reports and modeling required for these facilities. Plume modeling is one of the required reports. Plume modeling is a safety assessment technique used to simulate the movement, dispersion, and concentration of toxic or flammable gases released during a battery failure, such as thermal runaway or fire. This simulation and subsequent reports will provide requirements to help lessen the impact on nearby homes, schools, and other vulnerable populations in the event of an incident at these facilities. While plume modeling may drive some specific setbacks, the guidelines will also include setbacks if these facilities are proposed in proximity to some specific occupancies. Hazard mitigation analysis, or HMA, may also provide some separation recommendations from specific occupancies as per current fire code requirements. Additionally, testing as required by national standards requires specific separations between each battery container and the structures on site. Ultimately, this means in addition to zoning regulation and depending on scope of work proposed, these facilities may be limited in where they can be built within our city. Moving on to previous City Council actions on this item. Over these last 2 years, staff has been working closely with City Council and our partners with the county on this. These actions include a moratorium set in place in 2024, an extension of said moratorium, and a motion on workforce safety standards. Currently, our moratorium is set to expire in just a few months, in October of this year. As noted on the previous slide, in May 2025, City Council made a motion directing staff to incorporate workforce standards into these guidelines. In February of this year, 2026, the Board of Supervisors made a similar motion. Staff recognizes Council's interest in incorporating workforce standards into the BEST guidelines. However, because workforce standards fall outside the traditional scope of fire code regulations, additional technical analysis and stakeholder engagement are necessary. San Diego County is currently leading the effort with consultant support on this. Given the approaching expiration of the city's BEST moratorium in October, staff recommends adopting the guidelines now to provide clear standards on these facilities, while bringing workforce standards back to City Council at a later date for separate consideration. This will include staff bringing an update to City Council on progress with these standards in the next 6 months. With that, staff recommends that City Council approve Ordinance 2026-09, adopting the County of San Diego Battery Energy Storage System guidelines as a local amendment to the California Fire Code. Thank you for your time, and I can take any questions.
Do we have any public comments?
Yes, we do. Our first speaker is Jason Anderson.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. My name is Jason Anderson. I'm here today on behalf of Clean Tech San Diego in support of Agenda Item 20, and specifically the adoption of the San Diego County Fire Protection District Fire Protection Guidelines for all BEST within the city of Escondido. As background, Clean Tech San Diego is a business organization that represents the renewable energy industry here in the region, which employs close to 40,000 people and has a $9.5 billion annual impact on our regional economy. As stated, BESS are critical components of our energy infrastructure. They support the increase in renewable energy generation while keeping the grid stable and reliable. As the BESS industry has evolved and technology has advanced, so have the types of BESS projects and the way in which they are designed and constructed. As noted, codes and standards regulating BESS have rapidly evolved to better address safety concerns. Under the direction of NFPA, today BESS are built with the latest in technology and safety standards to ensure they pose little to no risk to surrounding areas. In fact, as the deployment of BESS has increased along with the technology and safety advancements, the number of incidents has fallen. Today, we have the added assurance that these vital safety standards are now required to be upheld by all BESS projects. In summary, BESS are safe, they are critical components of our energy infrastructure, and Clean Tech San Diego respectfully requests the City Council approve the adoption of the San Diego County Fire Protection District Fire Protection Guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Christina Marquez.
Hi, good evening, Mayor White and City Council members. My name is Christina Marquez, and I am a homeowner here in Escondido on Country Place. I'm here tonight to urge you to end the moratorium. Please approve the adoption of San Diego County Fire Protection District Fire Protection Guidelines for BESS facilities, and adopt the minimum workforce safety standards for all BESS projects as directed by the City Council on May 7th, 2025. The City of Escondido initiated this process to protect Escondido residents like myself. The only way to do so is through the adoption of minimum workforce safety standards, including C10 licensed contractors, state-certified electricians, and ensuring at least 15% of this workforce be ESAM tax certified. energy storage and microgrid training. There are nearly 400 eSamTax certified electricians in the county of San Diego already. This is more than enough to meet the 15% requirement. The new guidelines from the county require new reporting and reporting processes. Reporting on minimum workforce safety standards align with this. There are 2 examples of this already in place. Number 1 is in Kern County. They adopted workforce requirements for BESS in 2022. And number 2, the city of San Marcos, our neighbors, adopted workforce requirements for lithium-ion BESS in 2025. These workforce standards will close the gap between preventing accidents rather than simply reacting to them. For these reasons and more, I urge you to adopt the minimum workforce safety standards. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Serena Pelka.
Hi, good evening. I'm Serena Pelka from Climate Action Campaign, where we work to advance a clean, affordable, and reliable energy future across the region. We're here to express our support for this item tonight, and we see that battery energy storage systems, or BESS as we call them, are really a critical piece of the pollution-free future that our communities need and deserve. BESS projects bring immense benefits to our communities and region, including job creation, economic benefits, and clean energy investments. Most importantly, local power helps build our local reliability. We need to keep energy local to strengthen our energy resilience, and we cannot do that without battery storage. In fact, state officials credit renewable power, and particularly BESS, for keeping the lights on across California during last summer's historic heat waves. And now, as we're navigating already record-breaking heat this summer again, the only way to keep our grid stable is to continue to deploy clean energy projects that bring good jobs, that prioritize safety, they bring economic investments in the community, and that keep our lights on during black and brownouts. So in order to do so, we're also supporting adopting the minimum workforce safety standards for all BESS projects that was directed by Council in May of last year. BESS are a literal lifesaver. They ensure that everyone has access to reliable power, which is a basic human need. So we encourage you to please support this item that prioritizes safety, prioritize workforce standards, and enable the benefits of clean energy to reach Escondido's communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Corey Schumacher.
Good evening, Mayor White, council members. Thank you so much for taking this item this evening. My name is Corey Schumacher. I am the policy director of IBEW 569, representing 3,800 union electricians throughout the county of San Diego as well as Imperial, 250 of whom and their families live right here in Escondido. First, we want to thank you for the hard work on this. We know you've been tracking along with this for a very long time. One of the incidents happened in Escondido, and I've passed out something to you, and on the final page, you will actually see that the city of Escondido had a battery storage incident in September that was linked to its maintenance. It happened while it was under maintenance, and we can track the fact that certified electricians were pulled off of that project for maintenance 8 months before this incident occurred. So we know that when you have the right skilled and trained workforce on these projects, they stay safe. They're built safe and they stay safe. And we want you to know that we do support the staff recommendation this evening to end the moratorium and to adopt the county fire protection guidelines. However, we do not support the pushing off of the minimum workforce safety standards. In fact, not adopting the minimum workforce safety standards as directed by this council in May of last year leaves a dangerous gap in your public safety. We come before this council before to talk to you about this and the fact that minimum workforce safety standards is the only proven data-driven way to prevent incidents. Everything that you're seeing tonight is about responding to incidents. I'm here tonight to provide clarity on the county process to adopt workforce standards, and I want to address a couple of issues that may have arisen. You've heard that the county is going through a stakeholder outreach and research, and the truth is that they're complete. That research is done, and that agenda item is coming back before the council or before the county. The only reason that it was paused was because somebody went on maternity leave, one of the supervisors. I also want to address a couple more items that will be of interest, I think, to this council. Bullet point 1, that there may not be enough of the ESAM tax certified workers on these projects. You heard from Ms. Marquez that we have nearly 400 ESAM tax certified electricians ready to do this work. That's about 1 to 2 workers at the 15% mark per battery energy storage. You would need 200 BESS projects happening at consecutive times to meet that. So you have the workforce ready. And secondly, the guidelines that you have before you actually have 2 different items in here that would allow for the reporting of the C10 licensed contractors, the state certified electricians, and ESAMTAC already built into the guidelines themselves through the reporting process. So I'm going to leave myself here for any questions that you may have, but moving forward with the workforce safety standards this evening would close that gap. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Schumacher. And next speaker is going to be Truth Tonics.
Hi there, it is Truth. I'm glad Council has prioritized addressing the issue of these fire facilities. It's unfortunate that lessons about the dangers of lithium had to be learned the hard way. When the facility originally caught on fire, the Air Pollution Control District received air quality reports, but was practically unresponsive to the needs of Escondido residents. It was shameful. The fire department and the media also lied about the dangers of toxic cancer-causing lithium smoke. Honest firefighters know about this danger and are living with increased cancer risk thanks to electric devices powered with lithium batteries. The reality is that there's no safe battery energy storage site. There's also no safe electric vehicle or electric scooter or electric bike or wind turbine. They all are extremely fire prone because they rely on combustible lithium whose fire cannot be put out with water like a regular fire can. Lithium is also mined from the earth, causing practically irreversible environmental damage. There's nothing green about it. None of this toxic junk is even recyclable. The problem with the city trying to incorporate the county's best guidelines is they never did implement any guidelines. Supervisor Jim Desmond was the only supervisor interested in a moratorium or guidelines last year. CIO Ebony Shelton said she'd look into it and never updated us. And I know because I participate in practically every county meeting and they never addressed it. The county did not care about the BESS fire in Escondido or other coming fires at other BESS facilities that are scheduled to be built within the county. SDG&E alone has plans to build 21 BESS fire facilities. That's just from one company. The county is more concerned with allowing loopholes for the developer and union campaign donator friends like IBEW, who had 2 minions speak tonight, to hurry and build them all before any real regulations go into place. So I have some potential ordinance language. 1, require a buffer zone of 1 mile per 75 megawatts away from hospitals, houses, schools, and jails. 2, require at least 2 paved 15-foot wide evacuation routes within 100 yards of a BESS facility. 3, requires mitigation shelter-in-place facilities every 10 miles. 4, wind pattern plume modeling must be conducted for worst-case scenarios. 5, require applicants to secure a $10 million liability bond as a mitigation measure. 6, require a 1-year pre-notice period to affected communities within a 5-mile radius. 7, mandate the installation and daily test of smoke detectors and heat sensors. 8, appoint a community liaison or create a committee to address concerns. 9, monitor and document all noise level readings and safety incidents and make those records publicly available. 10, require adequate fire suppression agents on site. 11, require metal mesh over BESS facilities to reduce floating embers. 12, require a fire mitigation fund to fund the inevitable extra firefighter requirements. 13, require recycling of all lithium batteries that have expended their shelf life. 14, require a displacement and relocation mitigation fund to help pay for people's decreased home values or for the real potential of their homes being burned down, because it's not an if, it's a when situation for BESS fires. Stopping preventable fires is more important than unions getting rich off toxic lithium.
Your time has expired. No further public comments on this item, Mr. Mayor.
All right, the public hearing portion is closed. Just to open this up, for a little background how this came to be, the Harmony Grove residents had initially come to us asking us to oppose the big Seguro project. And it was interesting when we took that opposition to City Council, I believe it was within a matter of days that the fire broke out at the SDG&E facility, which led to the moratorium, which brings us here today. So thank you for all of your hard work over the last couple of years. I am in support of the guidelines as proposed tonight. Can you talk just a little bit more about why we're pushing off the minimum workforce safety standards?
Sure. So in my conversations with the county fire authority and watching the meetings, part of the challenge is this is a bit of a labor issue, and it's outside of the expertise of the fire code. So the fire code doesn't address this particular item. So we do need to pull in subject matter experts, which is why the county is working with consultants and stakeholders on that.
So even if we didn't adopt the workforce safety standards tonight, do we have any projects that are in the pipeline that would be ready for a workforce within the next 6 months anyways?
There's a project that's going through the California Energy Commission, but there's no projects that I'm aware of that are coming through the pipeline.
And the ones that are going through the Energy Commission, how does this affect those projects? And would our workforce safety standards have any teeth on those projects as well?
So the California, to my understanding, the California Energy Commission can approve these projects outside of our process. They are engaging in conversation with both fire department and planning department, and they are working on these best guidelines to be in compliance with these best guidelines. So they're being proactive, as far as I could tell.
Like I said, I'm in support of this item tonight. I would prefer not to wait 6 months for the workforce safety requirements to come back, and if there is a way to make that happen between now and then a little bit quicker, full support right here. But with that being said, I'll make the motion to approve our guidelines and ask for a second. All right, and I'll open it up to the City Council for discussion.
Thank you for your hard work on this. I know there was a lot that went into it. I had brought up my concerns about this when we discussed it, or when the last time we discussed it, and a lot of it was not just the fire that we had in the city, but also our neighboring city, Valley Center. They had within, I think it was a 4-month period, they had to have 3 evacuations or stay in place because of the fires that they had there. Sitting on the San Diego Air Pollution Control District, and also just trying to get information on exactly how dangerous those toxins are. The one that is the most dangerous is the one that you can't see or smell, and it travels the farthest. And that was concerning to me because we have a lot of open land, we have agriculture, and also, you know, in one of the projects, it was not too far as a crow flies to schools. So I think that it's good to at least have this in place now, and we'll see what the county does in working on it. And but also, too, I want to say that the Speaker Truth said something that I was aware of as far as the air filters and how they were not given up here. That is something that I brought back. And to be able to have some on standby in cases of emergencies, not just for those that have it in their city, but the neighboring cities, because air flows freely, and whatever happens at Valley Center could easily come and happen here, and it could impact our city. I do have a question, though, but so good job on the presentation today. I do have a question on safety practices for fire as far as responding. 2 days ago, it was on the I-70, which is north of Sacramento. There was a semi-truck with the lithium-ion batteries that caught on fire. So they had to shut down the freeway for about 8 hours. Are we prepared, or do we have a plan in place? Number one, are we made aware if anything like that's being transported? And number two, are we prepared, or how are we preparing to respond to something like that?
So this is always a big concern for us because we have 2 major freeways that go through Escondido, and there's a lot of hazardous things that are on the road. And through the years that now that we've had EVs and other things, we've had to basically treat electrical fires, EVs, lithium battery fires, like what they are, a hazmat. It's a fire, and it's also a hazmat. So our response to that takes that into consideration. We immediately notify our subject matter experts, County Hazmat. They respond to this incident, and we acknowledge that there will likely be an evacuation area with a large fire like that while we mitigate the fire. because of the challenges of putting out lithium battery fires, if you can, because you can't extinguish them very easily, you try to find a way to let them burn themselves out, but sometimes that's not always the case. So the runoff of these is caustic, the fire activity and the off gas from these fires is very caustic. So my biggest point is we do have a response plan. We take it very, very seriously. These are to be treated like the hazardous materials incidents that they are, and we immediately notify those resources and have them respond.
Thank you for that. I have nothing further.
Thank you for your work. This was really important to us. I know that when we first brought it up, as the mayor said, it was in response to a petition from some neighbors. And I also understand the importance of battery storage units. Serving on the Clean Energy Alliance, I know that there's definitely a desire to have that option of clean energy, but we have to do it smart and we have to be proactive at the same time. So I appreciate the work that you guys put into it. It took a really long time to get here, but we got here. And I just kind of wanted to reflect on the reasons why we did this, and I want to thank you guys. So thank you. That's it for me.
It's crazy to think that it's been since 2024. Time really does fly, but thank you for all your work on this. I appreciate this coming back well before October so that we could have this conversation. And I appreciate the briefing that we had this week on this item. I didn't realize in the briefing, I didn't know about San Marcos, so today's really the first time that I heard about them incorporating a workforce requirement. It looks like it's just for the C10 licensed electrical contractors. I don't see anything about the minimum percentage, but I wanted to invite Corey Schumacher, since she was the one that brought this forward, to just get more clarity on this, please. Hi there. Thank you for being here. So can you just share more about the city of San Marcos, and have you, how did they arrive to this? Do they have a minimum percentage in their policy? It looks like it's been almost about a year that they've had this policy in place, and any kind of challenges that you've heard since adopting these?
Sure. Appreciate the question. Yeah, I did provide you with an excerpt from the San Marcos fire protection standards, and what they did was they actually adopted the county's fire protection guidelines like you're doing this evening. And in addition, they added workforce standards to it. The one that they added was the C10 licensed contractors. And so they added that into their requirements. And they have had no issues. I heard earlier about the California Energy Commission. There's two processes through which battery energy storage can go through. The first is the local planning process, which is what we're talking about here, local requirements, and then there's the California Energy Commission. The California Energy Commission requires what's called a skilled and trained workforce to be, as a requirement for that process. And we, as the state certified electricians, are the skilled and trained workforce for battery energy storage through the California Energy Commission. Our management are the contractors who have the C10 license. So when you see C10 as a minimum workforce safety standard, you are getting state certified electricians who largely have that ESAM tax certification. There's no requirement as far as a minimum percentage of ESAM tax certified. What is required in San Marcos is that those who are building battery energy storage at 80 kilowatt hours and above, all of the electrical work, including the maintenance, has to be done by a C10 licensed contractor, which means state certified electricians. So if I were to choose one minimum workforce safety standard above all, I would do what the city of San Marcos did. And they have had no problems.
And can you tell me, I'm sure you're following the county, my worry is they haven't identified kind of a time. I know that staff is saying they'll come back in 6 months, and I appreciate that the mayor would like to have that be sooner than later. So my fear with the county is like they haven't really committed to a time. What are they really committing to? Because I mean, San Marcos is already doing something. Why wait for the county is kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. I think the question is one of leadership. And I think what the city of Escondido did 2 years ago at this point in taking a leadership role and requesting that minimum workforce safety standards be incorporated in this really reverberated around the county. You were leaders then, and this process has continued. It's continued to move, and oftentimes, I'm sure you're familiar with the state and how sometimes the state likes to push down requirements. Not a lot of local cities like that. They don't like being told what to do by Sacramento. And I think in this case, it's a similar story where you have now local cities who are starting to recognize that the data is showing that it is within the construction and the maintenance where we're seeing the root cause of these failures. And so the only way to prevent these incidents from happening to protect the community is really to put those minimum workforce safety standards in place. The county, I think, is doing something that's more political. And I would not like for the city of Escondido to get caught up in that politics.
One thing that I remember when we had this conversation about workforce standards and what really made me supportive of this when the initial conversation came up last year is that there was, I think I remember you referencing the Otay fire, right? When that was something that it burned for days, right? Yes. And you had mentioned to me, and it always stood out to me, is that they initially did have, skilled workforce, and then they had changed, right, to like not a skilled workforce. So if you can just speak to that again, because that always stood out to me as, I think this is like speaking more to like the safety and being being proactive of like how we do things and preventing, the something like Otay and preventing what happened at the SCG&E fire as well. So if you could just speak to that again,
sure,
that would
absolutely.
be great.
I appreciate the opportunity to revisit that. The Otay Mesa fire actually was not built by a skilled and trained workforce. That was its big issue. It was actually built by, I'm not going to reference the trade, but it was not built by a skilled and trained workforce. Not electricians, not C10 licensed contractors. The city of Escondido had the facility that was built and maintained by certified electricians up until a few months before they were pulled off of maintenance. And you can see before you the data that shows that it was while under maintenance that your SDG&E battery energy storage had an incident. Mm-hmm. And it was literally months after that skilled and trained workforce was pulled off of it. So the city of Escondido represents the clearest example of how a skilled and trained workforce, C10 licensed contractors, state certified electricians, will have an impact on whether or not something goes wrong.
Thank you for that, reminding me about that. So I would like, just because I remember that being safety and being proactive. So Mayor, I would like to offer a friendly amendment to support the policy with the C10. Pretty much this mirroring San Marcos addition of the C10 licensed electrical contractors.
Accepted.
Okay, great. And then do we need, someone else does your second need to accept? Okay. And then, 6 months, we can maybe even strengthen that more, but it's a minimum and we're
That's fine with me.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So prioritizing safety, thank you. That's something that we've been discussing for a very long time. And I think that we're finally at that point. So I'm very happy that we're working on and now have a policy before us to prioritize safety. I was wondering, and I think by the amendment that has been done now has clarified, I was just wondering, other than the county putting off the workforce issue, Was there another reason for that? And I remember at the beginning of the presentation that workforce was not something usually within the fire policy. So other than those two, was there any other reason that we were planning on, or the recommendation was to wait?
No, those were the
And now
reasons.
with this is all taken care of. So I am in support of this policy.
Does the council have anything else to add to that? If not, there's been a motion and second. Let's vote.
Voting is open. Motion approved, 5-0.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you all for showing up and for your comments. Appreciate it, and your recommendations. We will now move on to item 21, our current business, which is an authorization to submit an application on behalf of Hill Valley LLC for a general plan amendment.
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of the council. Veronica Moronis, our Assistant Director of Development Services. And before we jump into this next item, I just wanted to quickly introduce two new faces that you may or may not be that familiar with because they are brand new. On our left here, we have Garrett Smith, who joins our team as the new city planner, overseeing our planning services area for development services. Garrett recently moved back to the San Diego area from Northwest Washington State, where he worked as an assistant director in development services. And he has about 25 years in land use and development, and he loves to travel, enjoy movie nights, and hang out with his family. That's your right-hand side. On your left-hand side is Esteban Dana, who joins our team as our new principal planner in our current planning section. And Esteban has 16 years in planning. He's worked in various cities here in San Diego as well as in LA County. And fun fact about Esteban is he took a 4-year break from that planning career to work for the State Department, where he worked in Colombia and Poland. So I'll
Welcome
turn it
aboard.
over.
Okay. Let's see. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Again, my name is Esteban Dana, and tonight I will be presenting General Plan Amendment Authorization Request. This presentation will include background analysis, project review process, environmental review, and recommended action. Rincon Homes submitted their request and is initiating a general plan amendment to change the land use designation on the property. The property is located at the corner of Hill Valley Drive and Hill Valley Road, just southwest of Highway 78 at Nordell Road. The property is currently vacant with a private road intersecting its eastern portion. If authorized through tonight's City Council action, the applicant would submit a development application to amend the existing general plan land use designation on the property from Estate 1, which allows for the development of detached single-family homes on large lots, to Urban 3 general plan land use designation, which allows for a wide range of housing types and generally applied to higher density residential development. Upon application submittal, staff would evaluate the request for compliance with Proposition S. Upon City Council authorization, the project review process would include application submittal, staff review, Planning Commission public hearing and recommendation, and City Council public hearing and decision. The City Council's action to authorize the submittal of the application is exempt from CEQA analysis per section 15262 of the CEQA guidelines. The development project, proposing 125 residential units, would require a separate CEQA analysis, which would be conducted upon application submittal. Let's see.
So staff recommends that the City Council approve Resolution number 2026-101, which authorizes the application submittal for a general plan amendment. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. We'll go to public comment.
Yes, we have 2 speakers on this item. Laura Hunter.
Good evening, Laura Hunter. And sadly, I'm here again to point out that this is another example of a developer coming forward to ask you to divert from your general plan and significantly intensify incompatible uses in the city. This project will put hundreds of future residents in an area on the fence line of an industrial operations, which can have hazardous materials on site and does have operational air emissions. I urge you to stop this project at this point before money and time is wasted on a project by both the city and the proponents. Just like the previous one, I mentioned this on when you were rezoning industrial land, this is bad for both the future residents and it's bad for the present and future businesses. I sent you information on the air permits within just a quarter mile of the site. One of them has complied with ABCD requests, but the other one is not. Looking at the APCD files, I found that Freeburg did have to file an air toxics hotspot report and had to do a risk reduction. For the reporting year of 2021 wasn't implemented for actions in 2025. There's a lot to say about that report, and we will have to debate it if this project goes forward. And it looks like they have taken some action, but there's still, what I think is that report tells us is that there were acute health risks from the emissions in 2021 over 4 times the level that would be not be considered hazardous to health at the housing site. The pollutant of concern was nickel, which is an acute air risk, but it's also Prop 65 carcinogen. The risk was only reduced, not eliminated, through regulation. And I know everyone likes to hate on regulation, but you need it sometimes. And it's only been that way since 2025. PAPE or PAPE or whatever how you say, they haven't even submitted their report that the Air District has asked them to. This is all just to say that when it comes to siting homes near industrial uses and industrial emissions, a lot can go wrong. And because things can change, industries can change, attacks on regulation are incessant, and they can weaken protections that we already have in place. We can't rely on what's in place now because they're always under assault. Materials can change, hours of operations can change, business models and tenants can change. It's bad for residents because the regulations are, even if they're enforced, they're always behind the actual exposures. And it's bad for business because once the residents are there and the risks are known, industries should expect to be constrained in their operations. The bottom line is that when we have the opportunity, like we do now, first and safest line of defense is to separate those incompatible uses. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Truth Tonics.
Hi there. So I thought that line, incompatible uses of city land against the general plan, kind of really made me think, because I think high density housing in the wrong spots and best facilities in city spots have something in common: incompatible use. Basic safety. I'll get more into that, but I just want to point out numbers first. So you just approved a 94 unit complex at the last meeting. You added 124 units with a nutmeg development, and now you're going to add another 125 units smashed together as townhomes. So that's a total of 343 units in only 2 weeks that this council has approved. And you're doing this one with in my opinion, a very severe lack of information. I'm going to talk about that more in the non-agenda, but I really have an issue when you have a severe lack of transparency on what these projects actually consist of. Because, for example, how many parking spots are there going to be, if any? Or you just have no plans? What about evacuation routes? That's something that's severely needed with high density housing. And looking at that road, either direction, it's pretty rural. Uh, so I'm trying to figure out how would anyone escape? It doesn't seem like you could. In fact, there's not even sidewalks. So where is the protection of Escondido's agricultural history and character? Seems like there's going to be more gentrification impending. And it's very concerning because KB Homes is being allowed to build a monopoly in the state of California. And it seems like nobody wants to address that. They have so many projects. I can't tell you how many just this week I have heard about. And then the developer, or one of the developers, is Jonathan Frankel, formerly a committee chair at Sandag, also a fast-talking development pusher onto the city of Carlsbad very recently. And I noticed this project is just close enough to the Sprinter station to claim that density bonus state perk, yet it's not really accessible to any transit. So that's fun how that works. I'm wondering, is there a targeting of land located nearby county-controlled lands? Or are they planning the same type of development? Because I want to put on the record that there is no housing crisis. You can quit using that excuse. I don't care what party you belong to. Because despite the illegal alien influx that hit this country and this state and this county, a record 16,000 residents have left the county of San Diego. You cannot tell me that there are not homes available. It's not true. This is really about meeting Sacramento's RHNA housing quota demands, because those requirements have been making local cities sell out their communities. They get the increased property taxes while their residents suffer. And shame on anyone who allows that to continue.
Next, we have the appellant is here, Mr. Mayor. Yes. Or applicant, I'm so sorry. My apologies. Yeah, sorry.
Good evening, Mayor White and members of the council. I'm Jonathan Frankel, and I have the pleasure of serving as Vice President of Forward Planning for Rincon Homes. I will try and be brief this evening. We thank you so much for your consideration of this item, the authorization to allow us to begin a very exhaustive planning process to study the potential of a future new residential community on this unused 10-acre site in the city. Tonight, I just want to very briefly introduce our firm and our experience, talk about our vision for this property, and of course, ask for your support for the item. Rincon Homes is a small family-owned local builder here in North County. We're also a general contractor. We have about 15 years of experience working throughout the region. For me personally, it's really wonderful to be back in Escondido. I started my career here, and I'm really excited to have the opportunity to work on another project. I personally manage 5 projects in the city. We've done about 500 units in total, including the former Escondido Country Club site. I was here almost 10 years ago on a meeting on that project. And it's really wonderful. I actually had a chance to connect with some residents there earlier this week and talk to them and their family to see how they're doing. And I look forward to the opportunity of doing that here as well. We are unique as a company in that we are one of the only builders in San Diego that does for sale, on-site, deed-restricted, affordable housing. It's something that we feel we don't see enough of, creating home ownership opportunity and making that more accessible. Council, this project is fundamentally about transforming a fallow and unused property into a vibrant new community, provides housing opportunity, open space, recreational and recreational amenities for young families and working professionals. Today, the property, of course, is private, but it's doing nothing. It's serving no economic or social benefit to anyone. It has been underutilized for a very long time, and we look forward to changing that. The plan also contemplates preserving about 33% of the property as open space, as I mentioned. So it's a thoughtful design, and we're looking forward to refining it in conjunction with staff. We really like this location. Obviously, we have some light industrial users next door, and that's going to have to be fully analyzed and studied as part of this process. It's a very critical issue. However, when you look at proximity to jobs, transit, other regional amenities, we think this location really makes a lot of sense. You also have just immediately to the southwest of the site, the Valiano project, which was entitled in the county, and that includes over 200 units and they just started construction last week. So that project is underway. This area will see a significant amount of change, and we think that this project will fit in really nicely to what the future of what this area will become. Just a stone's throw from Palomar Medical. Obviously, you know the largest private employer in the city. They employ about 3,000 medical professionals. So in that way, supporting jobs, housing near jobs, we think there's a really nice synergy between the two.
some really interesting data when we were looking at, what do we plan here, right? The existing zoning is for residential estate, large lots, large homes that are very expensive. How do we create more affordability by design? When you look at the median home price in San Diego County, it's about $1 million for a resale single-family home. In Escondido, it's about $850,000. When you look at the for-sale townhome product, it's about $665,000 for a resale home. What does that mean in terms of monthly savings for an actual family? It's about $2,400 a month at current interest rates in terms of what you would have to spend in order to purchase that home. So it's a real opportunity. It's a real opportunity for young families to get into the market and for early career professionals. That's what a first-time home buyer opportunity looks like today. Of course, this initiation does nothing more than allow us to submit a full set of application studies and go through the exhaustive process alongside staff. And of course, we hope that you will give us this opportunity. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak.
No further public comments, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Comments, questions from council? Was that your ready or no? Okay, go ahead.
So I just want to make it clear, in case there's any misunderstanding with those that are here. So this is not to approve that this project goes forward. It's just approving the application so we can look, we can look into it and they can do the studies, but we're not approving the project. That is correct. Thank you.
So thank you for that clarification. That was something that was brought to my attention in one of our briefings, so I appreciate that. So just to be a little more specific with some of the comments, so the parking spots, the escape routes, that'll all be dealt with at the appropriate time if it even gets that far, correct?
That's correct. Once we receive the application, all departments, all city divisions and departments will be reviewing the project for compliance.
And then CEQA it has to go through CEQA?
Correct. Yes, it will be analyzed for that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
One quick question I had that somebody else asked me about, but I think you can explain it a lot better than I can. The 4 amendments that the city is allowed to do a year and batching, can you explain that?
Yes, the state allows up to 4 amendments for the general plan per year. So when there is more than 4 amendments within the city, then we would batch them and present them to the state all at once in batches.
Is there a limit to how many can be in a batch?
I am not aware of a limit. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Question on this, because I'm torn on this one. I think it sounds like a great project as far as for sale, affordable. Currently, it's zoned. It is zoned for residential though, just a bigger residential.
That's correct.
So it is zoned for residential regardless.
Yes.
Okay, and so that's an important distinction. I do know that we are going to have at some point a general plan amendment. We're due to have that. So to update our general plan, we're due to have that. And so I do care very much about environmental justice. I care about making sure people have healthy air to breathe. I definitely don't want anyone to get sick. So, and my understanding is that this is just to accept an application. As far as the studies so for example, let's see that down the road when this application gets processed, what kind of studies are done, and what if there is a finding that there is, it's like that it would be a hot spot that they're, building next to, like what happens at that point? Just kind of walk me through potential scenarios of how that would be mitigated or
Sure.
addressed.
So one of the study areas that is required by CEQA is air quality. And so if there is a finding that there is an impact on air quality, then it cannot be mitigated, then it comes in front of the city council with that information so that the city council may make a decision as to whether or not to move forward.
Okay. Got it. All right. And what do you think is a timeline for something like this? Do we know?
Typically, probably about a year of processing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So I will, this is one that I'm going to be watching because of the proximity to industrial. So I do share those concerns. The fact that it's already zoned for residential, I'm going to allow this to get processed, but I do want to, I'm going to be very interested in watching this closely as far as what kind of potential health negative impacts that this will have. And again, this is just accepting an application. It's not committing to anything. And there will be, it will undergo environmental review. So I will go ahead and allow it then. But I just wanted to say that because it is already zoned for residential. If it wasn't, I believe that would be different. Okay, thank you.
I actually just want to make a comment. I want to assure, and I'm glad that you came up and you expressed your concerns. It's important to bring those concerns up, and I just want to assure you that those concerns are the same ones that we have here. So the city staff is very thorough. We had a project that, again, we were looking at those same concerns, whether it be the plume, air quality, whatever would be dug up. And so we do prioritize housing, but never over public health. So I just want to assure you, staff is very good at working with the Department of Toxic Substances, Air Pollution Control, the Water District, anything that has to do with testing, examining, and making sure that that's a right location to build. So I think just allowing it to just look into it is good, but this is not an approval of the project because, again, we want to make sure that public health is first, and staff's going to do a good job with that. Thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve item 21 and ask for a second. Any other questions or comments? If not, please vote.
Voting is open. Motion approved, 5-0.
All right, thank you, everyone. Item 22 is the designation of voting delegate for the League of California Cities Conference.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's the League of California Cities Conference coming up soon. You have the opportunity to designate one voting delegate and up to 2 alternates. And before making a motion, just so you know, we do have one speaker on this item. Truth Tonics will be coming in.
Hey there, it's Truth coming in, hopefully loud and clear. So you all heard it. I was dead on with the county's housing plans. You can't make this stuff up. And that's absolutely related to Cal Cities because this non-representative group discusses issues like the RENA housing quotas and yet never actually has any real solutions to such issues. So if I were to pretend that it actually matters, I guess I'd recommend Dane and then either Judy and Joe to go to Cal Cities. Except, no, Cal Cities is an agency that does nothing but waste tax dollars and have almost nothing to show for all of their extravagant conferences in different cities. So I actually recommend that nobody goes to Cal Cities ever again. Save Escondido a couple $1,000s a year by ending the membership dues and the transportation cost and any meal reimbursements instead. So there you go. I flipped the script on you guys. Thank you.
No further speakers on this item.
Comments, questions, nominations?
I'm happy to do it since I'm one of the League of Cities reps here for our chapter.
Can I nominate you?
Sure.
I don't know if you could nominate yourself, so
Yeah.
I'd be happy to nominate
Okay.
you. And, okay, and then as an alternate, can I nominate, you'll do it?
Yeah.
Okay, and the second alternate, Mr. Garcia?
Sure.
Okay, that is my motion.
And I'll second.
Great.
If there's no other comments, please vote.
Voting is open. Motion approved, 5-0.
All right, does anybody have anything they need to add to a future agenda? If not, we'll go to council member subcommittee reports and other reports, and we'll start with Councilmember Fitzgerald.
We did take quite a while, some time off, so I'm going to be brief on what I did. This last Saturday, I attended the California Center for the Arts North County Arts Awards. It's the second annual one, so it's everybody from North County, top of the best artists, and it was a wonderful day to be able to just celebrate the arts culture in North County and San Diego. A couple of SANDAG meetings. On the 22nd, which was Wednesday, the mayor and I with our economic development team, we visited Baker Electric. And I just thought that Baker Electric, I don't know if everybody else is aware of this, well, I just thought Baker Electric was like a home electric solar thing. They actually work nationally, and they work with on military bases, top secret things. They're part of the freeway infrastructure. And the history is they opened on Grand Avenue it was in 1940-something. It's been in the family 4 generations strong, and in just 20 years, it went from making $400,000 a year to almost $600 million is what they're expecting. And they have 600 employees, the majority Escondido residents. So that was really something very exciting to learn about. I attended a human trafficking summit as far as law enforcement working better together, also with our tribal communities. There's a feather alert on that, and just communicating better. And as a matter of fact, our city, a police officer in our city was able to rescue someone that was trafficked from one of the tribal communities. This was about a month ago. So this has been very effective. Partnerships, communications are just so important, and I'm grateful for the relationships and being a part of this summit. On the 16th, I attended, the deputy city manager and I, we met with the San Diego Air Pollution Control District. We used to have an air monitor here that was over by the Palomar Hospital. And it was still on the map showing that it existed. And as I looked further, I learned that it no longer existed. So I approached the Air Pollution Control District asking, requesting that they look at us again. So they are going to be installing a new one. We went and looked at a potential site over by the police department. So it looks like we'll be moving in that direction if that is a good fit after staff does some more studying it. And also, it's not going to be at any cost to us. So it's your taxpayer money that's coming back, being invested in your city as it should be. The Escondido Sunrise Rotary Club. 40 years ago, a San Pasqual High School student, he was 23 years old, but he had a core group of friends from San Pasqual High School. He tragically died in a surfing accident. Brian Brokaw and his high school friends that they were very close, they dedicated a barbecue pit at Kit Carson Park, and it was just falling apart. And so the Escondido Sunrise Rotary Club and some of the core members from that group were his friends. So they went, and after going through the process with the city, they rebuilt it. And so it's nice, open for business, and it's ready to serve 1,000 more families for years to come. So I thought that was just it was just so personal. And some of the family members of Brian were there. Also some more SANDAG meetings, but this Saturday, if you are able, we are going to be having the library ribbon cutting at 9 a.m., and there's going to be an open house from 9 to 12. So if you have not yet, I don't think people are touring it yet, but it'd be a great opportunity for you to go. It is so state-of-the-art. It's phenomenal, the best one I've seen, and you'll be so proud that it's here in your city. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Very well. I have a couple of things to report. July 16th, we had an NCTD board meeting and went ahead and discussed a series of things, including routes and the possibility of looking at how the system works, is it considered for routes to be cut, why? So we had a very, very healthy discussion regarding that. We also began to discuss the structure and how do we reach certain ways of doing things in the structure, both on the board and subcommittees. So that was also a nice, very good, healthy discussion that we had. And we had Sister Cities
event, with one of our sister cities, San Jacinto de Milpas in Oaxaca, a delegation from Escondido was invited to present, and it wasn't until I was there, or we were there, that we found out that we actually made history. It was the first time that a delegation from outside Oaxaca, specifically foreign delegation, went and actually danced a local dance at their most important cultural event called the Guelaguetza. I arrived Sunday, was back here by Tuesday, but this was an absolutely incredible cultural event, which is one of the exchanges that we've been having with our sister city, the education that was provided, the excitement of the community to receive 108 people from Escondido as a delegation coming from the United States was very, very impressive. We also had, we were able to get some work done with the economic development. Part of the economic development staff were there to be able to begin those discussions. So it was just a highlight, and I'm sure my colleague, Councilmember Martinez, will add some other wonderful things, but it was just absolutely incredible cultural experience for many Escondidans, and for them to accept us and then later express that they never thought that foreigners could interpret their dance as our students did was just absolutely incredible. They said, these dancers must have Oaxacan blood in themselves, is actually what they said. So anyway, I'm very excited to report this, and I look forward to many of the plans and ideas that came out from this trip to begin to see stronger ties with some of our sister cities. So thank you. That concludes my report.
All right, last Wednesday or Thursday, Councilmember Christian Garcia and I went to the DBA mixer, and one of the repeated concerns that I wanted to share with staff was that the business owners on Grand Avenue would appreciate better communication through the third phase of the Grand Avenue Vision Project, and I just wanted to share that here. 4th of July was fantastic. I was in the dunk tank for a fundraiser. Proud to say I raised the most money in that part, but in partly because about 30 of my family members came by and took advantage of the opportunity. I went with the economic development team to Baker Electric, took a tour of the HARF, and several other things, but the one thing I did want to say is this Saturday is the ribbon cutting and public tours for the library grand reopening. So please come to that. I think it's at 9 o'clock. Okay, 9 to noon? Perfect. Make sure you are there. I was able to do a walkthrough, and it's totally unrecognizable. It is fantastic. And that'll conclude my report.
Okay, thank you. So I had a CEA, Clean Energy Alliance briefing yesterday. Again, I just want to remind everybody, we're making some pretty good progress here. There's some exciting things that are going to be announced tomorrow. The biggest thing is that we are making some, at a state level, some progress in terms of transparency of how the electric companies are charging. I think that's really important because I think there's a lot of ambiguity there, and I think it's just going to increase transparency. AB 1761, I think is what it is, but keep an eye out for that. I think that's really good news. The other thing right now is that, as everyone knows, that we are in the midst of a heat wave. Check out and I've said this before, check out the Peak Saver program. I think that's really important. If you enroll in that, typically you could reduce your electric bill. You just have to, during those peak hours, during peak times, it is really important that you reduce your use in order to save on the grid. And the other reason why I think that's important is because it is, there's a lot of strain on the grid right now. We have typically between 9 to 12 peak days a year, and I believe this past month we've had 4. So just kind of giving you an idea of what the grid is experiencing right now. As mentioned by the mayor, we did go to a DBA, Downtown Business Association mixer, and I just want to echo what the concern is. I think that's really important. And the utilities meeting that we had was also really good when we got to check out the water facilities. It's really impressive what the city does. If you haven't looked into it, I really recommend it. 4th of July was a great event, so thank you to the Center for the Arts for hosting such a fantastic and successful event. I had family in from out of town, and we took them there, and they absolutely loved it. They thought it was one of the best 4th of July events they've ever been to. So thank you to the city for doing that. And as always, thank you to my community for the privilege of serving.
And just, Councilmember Garcia, every time I see anything about the PEAK program, I think of you. So you're just, you're in my mind when I think about that. You just, you do such a good job promoting that. So they have a good advocate in you. So let's see, we had our July recess, so thanks. So yes, it's been a while since we've seen each other and lots have happened, but I did also participate in the Sister Cities. I'm the other half of the Sister Cities subcommittee, and so it was my first time in Oaxaca. You all will be receiving a staff briefing on that. At a future council meeting, you'll get to see photos and learn more about that trip, but I'm just in awe of the state of Oaxaca and just the people, how resilient they are, their culture, and just honored that we had Escondido youth that were able to probably fulfill a dream and a bucket list item of performing there, and just the way that we were welcomed. I honestly felt like family. And I just want to go back no matter what, So I'm forever now a fan of Oaxaca, but we actually have one of the largest populations of residents of Oaxacan descent in North County, and so there's definitely a tie-in there for our city, and I'm just excited for the opportunities that will come from that partnership. So just thank you for that opportunity, and to our local ballet folklorico group who really was instrumental in that relationship and the coordination and just the activities that happened. I also did, it was summer recess, but I was still doing a lot of city things. I participated in the NALEO conference in LA and also local progress. So I have lots of information that I'm still digesting, and the presentations and workshops that I attended from that. I also was honored to participate in the second annual North County Art Awards, and I received the Best Friend of the Arts Award. So such a meaningful honor. Thank you. I love the arts, and it was very meaningful, wonderful recognition. So thank you for those that voted and nominated me. And I'm excited about Saturday's library opening. Please come. The ribbon cutting's at 9, and then they're going to have 2 tours. And it's going to be just really amazing. There's also new murals that we'll get to see. And then I'm going to be participating in National Night Out this year again. It'll be right here at Grape Day Park. It's a national event that happens with community and law enforcement, and our fire department's also there, just to bring the community together. There'll be community resources. It's in partnership with Education Compact and our police department and the city of Escondido. It's always the first Tuesday. It's from 5 to 8 p.m. There will be coffee, snacks. It's always a fun time. It's for the whole family. So I definitely encourage you to come out. And I will be there passing out cooling towels because it's been so brutally hot. So come get your free cooling towel at National Night Out this coming Tuesday, and I will see you on Saturday. I will also bring some cooling towels with me on Saturday in case we need them as well. So thanks, everyone.
City Manager?
Yeah, there is one clarifying from a statement that I need to make about the battery or energy storage system item 20. Council was presented with some information that is not necessarily equivalent, and so when we come back for the second reading, you may want to weigh this option. What was presented to you were guidelines that 2 communities have. They are not ordinances. You did something very different this evening, And I think that is why we were moving toward an ordinance conversation instead of a guideline. I don't know if that is going to have future ramifications. We're not asking for reconsideration, but I did want to make you aware that something presented was not necessarily equivalent to the action you took this evening. So just for your situational awareness, it's a guidelines that exists in San Marcos, not an ordinance. And so there are some things that we want to make sure you're illustrated, which also was part of the reason that staff was looking at the longer event horizon on the ordinance side that the county is working on. So just for clarification.
Was that your whole report? Okay. Public comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, everyone, for your patience waiting through the agenda. Now we're going to get to oral communications. Our next speaker is Marilyn Carpenter.
This is regarding the ice rink. This project, however well-intentioned, however well-designed, does not belong at this site. Our group will continue to come until you recognize this fact and move on to other projects or another site. As a city council, one of your roles is to encourage business to build in Escondido. We recognize that. And from that perspective, the Gulls Ice Project is perfect for Escondido. It will bring revenue to the city. I honestly wish you would have put this much effort into saving the Iceplex, actually. However, you also have a role to the community of providing a wonderful city to live in. You need to separate out your role in growing business in Escondido from maintaining, as well as you can, the character of the community that Escondidos live in. You already have Kit Carson Park, and all you have to do is maintain its character. This project will not help with that. I've talked to many people who fondly reminisce their experiences in the past years with kids and grandkids in Kit Carson Park, and they all involve outdoor activities, Even as I pass by the many family picnics, I'm amazed at the number of different languages being spoken. And I realize that probably nowhere else in Escondido can you be in a common area where you can see a composite of the Escondido population. Nowhere else in Escondido will you see that. Actually, if you only take one walk in Kit Carson Park, you'd be able to take in this one walk, sights and sounds of disc golfers, picnickers, ball players, and generally a population enjoying the outdoors. The minute you start chipping away at the natural outdoor areas of Kit Carson Park, you will never again have this natural land. Kit Carson Park is a natural resource for outdoor activities, and you truly need to value it and preserve it as such. The more you chip away at these resources, the shared outdoor activities are going to dwindle. The more you
Thank you,
keep
Ms. Carpenter. Your
trying
time
to
has
chip away at
expired.
the land here with all your money making.
And Ms. Carpenter, your time has expired. Thank you so much. Great. Our next speaker is Barbara Aguilar.
Good evening, Mayor and council members, manager. Mike. Ooh, sorry. Okay. Good evening, Mayor and council members, city clerk, attorney, and manager. My name is Barbara Aguilar. I'm a next-door neighbor to a resident to Kit Carson Park, as well as a business owner here, parent, and avid volunteer in this community. I'm here to tell you to reconsider the location proposed Gulls Ice Rink.
This is not about the actual sport of hockey, but about the location. This is about one of our most valued public parks and whether this public has been afforded transparent process to evaluate this proposal. KCP belongs to us, the people of Escondido. First and most important is safety. The traffic is set to shift into my corridor, which is South Center City Parkway. That does not solve any traffic problems. It would actually make the already unsafe corridor even more unsafe. I know this way too well, as recently my car was totaled and my daughter injured on Center City, that very corridor. The city should already have shown competence and address these safety concerns in this corridor before approving any regional destination or an MOU or anything, because this will clearly impact it for the worst. Second is pollution. My neighbors and I will experience increased traffic noise and light pollution, pollution beyond the park's traditional hours, emissions from condensation that will travel right to my home. We are a rural community, and these things impact well beyond city boundaries. The last thing I see at night are the softball lights. I don't want to see a monstrosity when I lay my head down to sleep. Third are the added environmental impacts of more heat generation and loss of open space for the land and wildlife to breathe and thrive. Paving natural landscape with buildings, coolers, and concrete increases the heat island effect. As a landowner trying to grow food and educate the community about permaculture, I do not believe we should be adding to the contributing problem. Permaculture is about helping to heal and live with our earth. This would be the exact opposite. We should be building responsibly and not allow for any type of gateway that will create a precedent for future land and or water grabs, which is happening all over the United States right now. It is not responsible to concrete unsuitable parkland for this venture when this land is wildlife habitat and a pasture for migrating birds. Parks like these keep people grounded and communities connected and active. These communities' benefit deserve the same consideration as any proposed development. Last but not least, this public trust has been eroded due to the fast track of this proposal and the lack of transparency. Projects of this magnitude deserve communities' participation and thus their confidence that the process was done and conducted in their best interest. I implore you to slow down this process, provide greater transparency, and consider a more suitable location for a regional sports complex.
Thank you, Ms. Aguilar. Your time has expired. Our next speaker is Doji Fiamore.
Good evening, Escondido Mayor and City Council members. My name is Doji Fiamore.
I'm Verna Sundquist, and we are representing the Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is of Escondido.
The Baha'i Faith is an independent world religion founded in 19th century Persia by Baha'u'llah that teaches the unity of humanity and the essential harmony of the major religions. The spiritual teachings of the Baha'i Faith inspire us to form deep and diverse relationships and build communities that nurture the well-being of all of us. The Baha'is of the United States are offering a document in honor of the 250th anniversary of the founding of our nation. The document is entitled A Common Endeavor, Realizing the Promise of America, and it is being presented to all who hold the promise of America in their hearts. The founding of our country was based on ideals like freedom, equality, and justice that reflect deep shared human aspirations. The Baha'i sacred scriptures envision a destiny for America that fulfills and even exceeds the principles of its founding. Freedom, equality, and justice are in essence moral or spiritual principles. They stand alongside other important values like moral courage, trustworthiness, generosity, and integrity. These principles and values have always been a part of humanity's spiritual heritage, and they need to find fresh expression in our time. We flourish to the extent that we embody such qualities
in our individual and collective lives. Baha'is are eager to contribute alongside others to the spiritual renewal of the life in this nation. We all have a part to play in fulfilling the hope of this country. Wherever we are, we can arise in service and expand our circle of concern. We are called to be bridge builders, realizing that all people belong to one human family, and only in unity can we thrive and prosper. We all deserve to be treated with dignity and the opportunity to develop the talents we possess. We wish to share a copy of this document, which invites us to thoughtful conversation. In this time of challenge, we need spaces where we can pause, reflect, and listen to others with openness and goodwill. The hope is that this message can inspire conversations in homes and neighborhoods, in faith communities and civic settings, so that we can move forward and realize the promise of America. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Tracy Henschbarger. And I apologize if I, oh, perfect. All right, I'll take it.
Good evening, Mayor White, council members, and city staff. My name is Tracy Henschbarger, and I'm an Escondido resident and a lifelong birder, which you can probably tell by looking at me. I am one of 96 million Americans, or 37% of the population over 16 who participates in the sport and science of bird watching. The percentage is likely even higher in San Diego County. More than 1,000 bird species have been documented in the United States. Remarkably, 522 of those 1,000 have been found right here in San Diego, more than any other county in the nation. Of those 206 species of those 522 have been documented in Kit Carson Park. Our extraordinary bird diversity is due not only to our climate, but also to our location along the Pacific Flyway, one of the world's great migration routes. Every year, millions of birds travel between Alaska and South America, relying on freshwater habitats to rest, feed, and breed. Unfortunately, those habitats are becoming increasingly scarce. Kit Carson Park provides one of those essential habitats via Eagle Scout Lake, Tree Lake, and the surrounding riparian corridor. Together, these features support the over 200 bird species found in the park, including the endangered least Bell's vireo and the threatened coastal California gnatcatcher, both of which nest in the park and are protected under federal and California law. Bald eagles and golden eagles also visit the park and receive federal protection. For the past 41 years, Kit Carson Park has hosted the National Audubon Society's annual Christmas bird count. Today, birders also contribute observations through the eBird Citizen Science app, and there's nearly 2,400, that's 2,400 bird checklists that have been submitted from within Kit Carson Park. It's a remarkable record of the park's ecological importance. San Diego is home to numerous birding and environmental organizations that closely follow projects affecting sensitive habitat. A complete, transparent, and independent environmental review is essential so the public and organizations with scientific expertise can fully evaluate the impacts before any irreversible decisions are made. Once this habitat is disturbed, it cannot simply be recreated somewhere else. The decision you make here will affect this ecosystem for generations. Ice hockey is in my family's blood. Members of my family have played, coached, and refereed the sport for decades and are avid spectators. However, ice rinks are noisy, brightly lit, and active well into the evening. Those characteristics are fundamentally incompatible with the quiet natural habitat that makes Kit Carson Park so valuable to wildlife. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Melissa Petrie. Oh, sure.
Good evening, Mayor White, council members, and city staff. My name is Melissa Petrie. I live adjacent to Kit Carson Park, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. I want to leave you with one simple thought tonight. You are not elected to represent developers. You are not elected to represent private organizations. You are elected to represent the people of Escondido. Over the past several months, your constituents have shown up. They've attended meetings, submitted comments, completed surveys, written letters, spoken from this podium, and volunteered thousands of hours because they care deeply about the future of Kit Carson Park. And this message has been remarkably consistent. Residents support bringing ice sports to Escondido. Residents support recreation. Residents support economic development. But they overwhelmingly believe Kit Carson Park is the wrong location for this project. At the city's own public information meetings, 209 public comments were submitted. Of those, 160 people, more than 76%, supported protecting Kit Carson Park or said this project belongs somewhere else. Only 20 people, less than 10%, supported placing the ice complex in the park. That's an 8-to-1 difference. Even more telling, many of the comments weren't opposed to the project itself. They simply said, good project, wrong location. Those are not anti-development voices. They are residents asking you to pursue the project without sacrificing one of Escondido's most treasured public parks. The city's own online engagement platform tells a similar story. Nearly 71% of comments opposed this location, while fewer than 25% supported it. Almost a 3-to-1 difference. These aren't our numbers, they're yours. No public comments are not an election, but they are the only official opportunity residents have been given to participate in this process. When you ask for public input, you have an obligation to listen, even when the answers aren't what you hoped to hear. In just a few months, the voters of Escondido will once again decide who represents them. Before then, you have an opportunity to demonstrate that public participation still matters. Listen to your constituents, complete the environmental review, conduct the traffic studies during the school year, evaluate alternative locations, then make your decision on a potential land lease. That's what a representative government looks like. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ann Levers. Oh, my most sincere apologies. Oh, it's all good. That's on me. All right.
And I hope, Council, I'm glad to be here and glad to see all of you, and I hope you will indulge me a little personal reflection on Kit Carson Park. I'm 94 years old. I've been in Kit Carson Park for eons, obviously, with that kind of a number. In fact, I have worked in community projects in Escondido for about 65 years. And community, to me, is what's important about a town. You can buy land, you can buy buildings, but you cannot buy community. It's a very subjective thing. So early on at Kit Carson, my family and I planted trees at the north end. I believe it was Kiwanis or maybe Rotary. I'm not sure which club organized all of us, but we planted all those trees at the north end of the park. And of course now there's a terrific facility there. It's free. It's all free. All the disc golf is just free. And that's what I want to point out, is that any council has to hope for
the loyalty of its citizens. And you get that by giving them something that is totally subjective. Maybe doesn't make a bit of sense on paper, but that's where you get your loyalty to a community. What I like about the park, and I've been there, as I said, walking for eons, is that everything is free. So if I want to watch a baseball game, I go. If I want to watch softball, I go. If I want to just walk and talk to my friends, that's just fine. Nobody's telling me what I have to do. If I want to watch disc golf, I have grandchildren that play disc golf, free, once again. The amphitheater, over the years, as you can imagine how many things I've seen at the amphitheater, including graduations and musical performances and plays. We used to do Felicita there. But it was always a place that we could all gather for whatever was being presented, and there was no charge. So that was wonderful. I loved the playgrounds. The new playgrounds had been put in out there. They involved the parents with the kids on the playground, which is a really nice thing. You don't just turn the kids into a playground and leave them. The parents can participate there. Whoever designed those playgrounds did a super job, and I see they use them a lot. Let's see what else I have. Oh, and then, you know, the socializing. I've met so many people there, and that's one of the reasons that we go and walk. We want to be around
Thank you,
other
Ms.
people who are
Livers. Your time has
like-minded, who
expired.
want to be healthy, and I just have a
Thank you,
huge
Ms. Livers.
list.
Your
of
time has
people.
expired. I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
well, that's it, but I feel like we've got to preserve that kind of thing. It's not about money. It really isn't about money. And this project appears to be mostly about money. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Farad Razmi.
Oh, I don't want to.
Oh, it's just oral communications. This is your opportunity. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no.
Sorry, I'm not ready yet. I
Oh, if you
apologize.
want, do you need some time? I can call you up
Yeah,
next.
just
Sure.
once-
No,
yeah,
take
yeah.
your time. Take your time. Not a problem. Yeah, Martha Tucker.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and staff. My name is Martha Tucker. I've lived in Escondido nearly 50 years, and I sure love Kit Carson Park. I walk there almost every day. I've led my Seroptimus Club on walks there, and they don't live in Escondido, and they are just amazed at what we have, a real natural gem. I was disappointed. I attended the meeting at the Valley Parkway Community Center telling us about the proposed ice rink. And it didn't feel like they wanted any of my input or questions. It felt like a marketing campaign. I felt like they were going to sell me a timeshare or something. It didn't feel like a discussion of what do we want as residents of Escondido. We need to preserve this natural space. Putting a commercial facility at one end of the park, don't think it won't affect the whole park. It certainly will. It's a whole culture, a personality, a place, a gathering for everyone, not an indoor, well-lit facility with a huge parking lot. For all the reasons you've heard before, and a plea for the future, for the next 50 years and our city's entanglements. Please preserve the intention that was put forth 50 years ago for the park to maintain as a natural space, not a commercial space. And I really would ask the council to continue to seek input from the community and let the community have a say, and please be more transparent. This has felt like a done deal. I don't know if that's true, but that's how it's come across. So I certainly hope we can have more discussion on this.
Thank you.
Farhad Razmi.
Dear Honorable Mayor, City Council, City Manager, City Attorney, and City Clerk. My name is Farhad Razmi, owner of 1861 North Nutmeg Street in Escondido. I'm here to place City on formal public notice regarding 8 SDG&E utility poles located on my private property. I have repeatedly reported possible runoff soil contamination involving potential toxic chemical associated with treated pole, utility poles, electrical arcing above the residence, leaning and damaged poles, excessive vegetation, serious fire hazard, restricted emergency access, driveway impact, and unresolved question concerning the original easement signed by prior property owners. I've provided notice to the city on June 10th, July 2nd, July 13th. Despite these notices, I still have not received one coordinated written response from the city SDG&E or any responsible environmental or safety agencies. Sorry, I'm very nervous. First time. The excessive vegetation is approximately 7 to 8 feet high in some areas surrounding utility poles in my property. Electrical equipment, guy wires, the residence, and the driveway. It creates potential ignition source, obstruction, inspection, and maintenance, and could interfere with the firefighter's emergency vehicle or medical personnel. At this time, the city has placed vegetation maintenance obligations on me without explaining in writing how contractors can safely work near energized electrical equipment, treated poles, guy wires, and soil or vegetation that may have been exposed to toxic chemicals. I'm asking the city to obtain and review original easement and every amendment. I need a written determination explaining whether the easement authorized chemical poles, treated chemical runoff, soil distribution, vegetation removal, entry on private property, and placement maintenance of all 8 poles. Families and children live near this property. If toxic chemicals are entering the soil, vegetation, drainage areas, or groundwater, the public deserves to know whether the environment testing, contaminant cleanup, and vegetation notification to affected neighbors are required. I guess that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Would you
Thank you,
give
Mr. Rossi.
the best phone number to reach you at? Would you leave that with the clerk, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have it already, and I'll send it to you.
Okay,
so-
perfect. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Great. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Bonnie Wagner. Our next speaker is Bonnie Wagner. Yes.
Good evening. I'm Bonnie Wagner. I'm a secondary teacher, and I am thrilled that the City Council is taking an interest in providing air-conditioned areas where our teenagers can hang out in a safe space. I think it's an important part of growing up to have a place that's not where your parents can see you, that you can meet your friends, and become the adult you're growing into as an adolescent. And as another speaker noted, it is getting a little too hot to hang out at the skate park all summer. That said, putting a large industrial facility like an ice rink at Kit Carson Park seems odd, tone deaf, confusing. I was one of many, many residents who absolutely loved using the ice rink on a regular basis before it closed. And we would have loved if the city had taken action to help that ice rink stay open, rather than letting it fall into disuse and disrepair over several years. That said, I want to reframe the decision-making process here. I've been reading the very interesting information that has gotten bigger on the website, and I appreciate that somebody is trying to put more information out for us residents to read. But it seems like the answer to why didn't you consider this other space, the mall,
the old Iceplex, they all have to do with it's too complicated. Well, the city doesn't own that. Is it the city's responsibility to provide an Iceplex? It seems to me that there's this rather wealthy organization who wants to do this Iceplex, this ice rink complex with 3 ice rinks. I don't know why 3 is so important to them, why the 2 doesn't work. I'm sure that they have an answer for that, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's best for Escondido. We have industrial spaces that would love to be revitalized. That would be lovely. It's not clear to me why they can't buy the old Iceplex and the property next to it and build the complex they want right next to the freeway, where there's already power and water, and where it won't interrupt the open spaces that we treasure and are supposed to be set aside. I understand there's complexities at the mall and at other industrial spaces, but that seems to be their problem and not necessarily our problem or your problem. And I have questions about our process here. I was reading recently about how things like this are happening all over the country relating to data centers, that city councils all over the country are being asked or forced to sign non-disclosure agreements with for-profit companies or other groups that have business before those city councils. And that seems like a major ethical problem to me. You are representatives of us, your local taxpayers. You are not representatives of those companies. You're hopefully not employees of those companies, because that would be a conflict of interest.
Thank you, Bonnie. Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Patricia Kellenbarger. Patricia? Okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't know if any of those were them. All right. Someone who submitted a public comment request with just the initials ES? ES? Stuart Race. Saw Stuart earlier. There you are, Stuart, right on.
Good evening. My name is, good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Stuart Race. I'm here to ask you to consider bringing the benches back to downtown Escondido. The benches were removed and have never been replaced. The benches make downtown more welcoming for seniors, families, shoppers, and visitors. This provides a place to rest, encourages people to spend more time downtown, and softens the look of our city. I respectfully ask the City Council to consider restoring the benches to help make our downtown even more inviting. Thank you, and I hope that you guys can get this remedied. And I don't believe that we should put an Iceplex there, or a skate place. I still have time. I usually have time. So I think that there's way too much that you guys have to consider to be able to get that project down the road. Sewage, power, I know a little bit about power, and water. So I'm sure there are other places that have all of those things. That Isoplex has a power plant there that you guys can sell them on refurbishing and providing the power for that, which would help. But I hope you guys reconsider that place and look at other places. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Eleni Tignor. Eleni Tignor. All right. Robin Weinstruck. Great. All right.
Good evening, Mayor White and all the council members. Thank you for hearing me. I'm Robin Weinstock. I'm a longtime resident of Escondido, and I want to state my opposition to the skate park in Kit Carson Park. I use the park daily. I'm there every day, and I meet people. I enjoy it. It's beautiful. Weekends is, all the softball fields. It's a jewel in the city of Escondido with its trails, wildlife, community picnics, and ballparks. How wholesome is that? It could be a poster for why families should move to Escondido. I feel that
rink process has been rushed. I just found out about it like a few weeks ago. Studies are not adequately completed and communicated to the public. You know, Kit Carson is the people's park. Please keep it so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Teddy Jackson.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager, and City Clerk. I want to say a good job to you because I know you guys have all working hard on many things that the community is concerned about. So my name is Teddy Jackson. I represent Protect Rural Escondido. I started it about a year ago after we found out about a development that was planned for our neighborhood, a rural neighborhood. I want to also mention that I have a great website, but I've just revamped it, so it's out right now, but tomorrow it's coming, launching, and I'm really excited about that. So if you go right now, it's not working, but it is coming, and it'll be even better than ever. So tonight I want to speak about my heart for hundreds of neighbors that feel like we're watching the community they chose to live in be dismissed and slowly erased by the city of Escondido. We have collected over 500 petitions, and hundreds of members have joined our grassroots movement, which I'm really encouraged by because it's not NIMBY, it's about MIMBY, right? Maybe in our backyard if there's things that are accommodated. So people don't move to the county unincorporated Escondido by accident. They choose it because it's unique. They choose larger lots, the ability to have horses and large animals, gardens, mature trees, wildlife, dark skies, and the peace that comes with living in a rural community. We don't have sidewalks. Our roads were never designed for urban levels of traffic, and we have numerous accidents and deaths that have occurred on that stretch of rural 78 between Oak Hill and Idaho Avenue. It's a rural residential community whose very character depends on space, quiet, and provides a transitional buffer from the commercial urban core of the city. The Aldea Escondido project proposes an 18 times increase in urban density immediately across from the historically and culturally significant neighborhoods of Park Hill, Birch Avenue, Idaho Avenue, permanently changing the community character of the surrounding unincorporated rural community. Once that line is crossed, it will not stop with this project. In fact, that same developer owns 10 acres on Summit, and I guarantee you that's his strategy. Once that line, residents of Escondido, especially the residents of this neighborhood, everyone that we've talked to, and Escondido Christian School and Church, a K through 12 church that's been in Escondido for 100 years. We're all deeply concerned about the commercial uses that are being considered in that density increase and that rezoning. What does that mean? Will that be a convenience store? Will that be a liquor store across from the church? Will that open up the corridor to just start?
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Your time
Okay,
has expired.
thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Maria Wallace. Good evening, Mayor, Council members. It has taken about 3 years of discussions to 7 or 8 closed session meetings, and suddenly you decided that Escondido residents are going to approve building an ice skating rink facility, which would take away a good amount of public land at Kit Carson Park at the expense of us, the taxpayers. This doesn't sound good, especially when the public wasn't aware of these negotiations. According to dictionary.com, and I quote, "Dishonesty is the act of habit of not being honest, which includes lying, cheating, stealing, or hiding the truth to trick people." And I end quote. You're very dishonest. Councilmember and Mayor, this project has not been transparent. We need to protect
public land, parkland. I am concerned about the environmental and financial impact this project might bring to us, the residents of Escondido. Public land belongs to the public, and it should stay that way. The ice skating rink facility at Kit Carson Park is a wrong location. Please find a different location. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Truth Tonics.
Hey there, again, it's Truth Tonics. The majority of council already knows me, but for those that don't, I'm sure you already love and hate me, so join the accountability club. So in testing the telephonic system, it was easy to sign up for, but on the phone, sometimes the background noise is incredibly annoying, so you should do something about that. Joe, thanks for showing up for veteran Kerry Sharon and the injustice of his brutal murder. Thanks for also filling in at Sandog on occasion, because that's a different type of injustice. Judy is doing great there now. She has a lot more to say than Dane ever did. And if Dane doesn't like that, well, you can let me know on social media, where you post a lot. Christian, thanks for going on ABC News and educating people on the community character destruction that pervert Scott Wiener's SB 79 is going to do to the city and every city and county in the entire state. And Consuelo's skilled and trained workforce seems to be a euphemism for IBEW and their political organizer, Corey. I might have to look into how much award money they donated to your campaign. Now let's talk about other serious city issues besides ice rinks. The website is a problem. I tried to email the mayor and clerk, but there is no email for either on the city website. All there is a comment form. So I tried pasting my message into the stupid comment form, and it rejected my comments as potential spam. So you guys have a rigged contact system, and there's no way to even contact somebody about that. You need to improve accessibility by adding email addresses, whether you like it or not. I'm also concerned that your agendas provide very minimal information on agenda items. For example, projects contain no details about how the money is actually being spent. I participate in over 100 public meetings a year, and I've never seen such an untransparent agenda style. I'd like to see an HTML version of agendas that come with detailed attachments. I'd also like to see these council meetings live streamed on the city's YouTube channel for better public accessibility. I saw at the last meeting that Dane called up a woman to speak before a city presentation was publicly presented. That is out of order, and anyone who experiences that should call a point of order and demand that the presentation goes first before public comment. Because if we have not been provided information on what an item is, then how can we speak to it? Just common sense. I also heard at the last meeting the city attorney say there was last-minute information received a very short time right before a closed session. Was that information made available to the public? Because it needed to be publicized long before council discusses it behind closed doors, let alone decide to put it on an agenda. You guys really need to clean up your policies and procedures, because if you don't, you will face further auditing and expose the city to potential lawsuits. Last meeting, a gentleman said he audited the consent and actually got phone calls back from city staff in return. As someone who's audited hundreds of consent calendars in several cities, I usually have to shame council members to force responses, so pretty good. And lastly, is the clerk's nickname Zay Bay? I asked because that's what his signature looks like on city contracts. But great job, Zach. Okay, thank you.
No further public on this item.
I just have one more thing. I don't know if it's just me, but I have a hard time hearing the people speaking on the phone, so just wanted to say that for the record. Yeah, muffled just a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. That concludes our meeting.